Do you ever feel that as much as you love Christmas, it just can feel overwhelming, particularly if you're chronically ill, super busy, tired, or working really hard? You love all the bits and pieces, the decorations, the food, the events, the get-togethers, all of it. But it just feels like so much. Well, me too. There are so many reasons that Christmas, as much as we love it, can be difficult. Well, in this video, we are going to talk about some of the things we can do to get through it and have a happy Christmas in a reasonable way. I went out looking for some ideas because I need them from me, and I'd like to share them with you today. An article that I found that was just excellent was on creakyjoints.com, and I'm going to link to it in the description. Of course, a lot of these ideas are my own. Let's get started, but before we do, if you relate to any of these feelings or the experiences, you might want to think about subscribing, because we talk about these kinds of things on this channel. The first thing you need to do is just to accept your limitations, particularly if you're ill or you're working or there's just so much going on. And remember this, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do it. So you need to set appropriate expectations for your Christmas season. Now here are some really specifics. Number one, make cooking assignments. Sometimes it's really difficult for us to ask for help. We used to do it. We want to keep doing it. Maybe we believe that the people around us just can't do it as well, so we must do it. But we really need to break it up. I got the neatest text from my son this morning in a group text with my family. He said, I want to make Thanksgiving easier for us this year. I'm going to do the turkey and the gravy and the mashed potatoes, and I'm going to make the mashed potatoes ahead. And it would be great if all of you guys could do the sides. That way nobody is overburdened by it. And I said, that is so great. And I told him I'd already made the grocery order, and that's a really good tip. Instead of fighting the crowds at the grocery stores, I love Walmart Plus home delivery. I do all my shopping on the app. I arrange for the delivery time, and they bring it to me on my porch. It has just saved me so much energy and aggravation. And so yesterday, when I was thinking about what we needed for Thanksgiving dinner, I just went through and found out what we had and what we needed, put in the order, and this morning the orders come. So do that. When you're having an event or you're going to go to an event, set an end time. Let's say you have a little get together in your home. When you have the invitations, you could say, we are going to do this for 2 hours. And then after 2 hours, it's over. And the 2 hours is because you know you can last 2 hours. Or if you're going to go to somebody's house, you set the time limit of an hour or two or whatever it is. Let's say your spouse or whoever you're attending the party to wants to go for a longer period of time, take 2 cars. So that when you hit your limit and don't stay longer than you should, you can go home. Consider what you're grateful for. When we're having these difficulties, it's so easy just to think about the things we can't do, we wish we could do, start to feel kind of sorry for yourself, truly. At least I have that problem sometimes. I found if I start listing and even writing down all the things I'm grateful for, my spirit just lifts. So try that. If you are like me, and find that having a lot of people around and a lot of confusion and the kids running around and kind of screeching and having fun and a lot of laughing, if it gets overwhelming to you, because I have some cognitive issues and my nerves will just get shot, create a getaway for yourself in your bedroom where you have some nice things in there, some books, a string of light, a candle, so you can go in and rest and kind of recuperate and see if you can go out again. Now, my aunt has fibromyalgia and she's had it for as long as I have, which has been decades, and she used to always do that. When she'd get overwhelmed, she had 8 kids, and then when we would come to visit, the house would start to feel too much for her. So she would go in her bedroom and relax. And we all understood it. And sometimes we don't do that because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, or we don't really want anybody to know how serious our problem is because we don't want them to judge us. But if you just explain ahead of time, if I start to feel overwhelmed or kind of sick, I'm going to go and rest a little bit and see if I can get feeling better and come back out again. If you can't, you can't. but have the plan. It's really important to have the plan. Make sure you keep your regular sleep schedule. When we have holidays, sometimes, and we have events, we get all out of whack with our sleep schedule and stay up too late watching Christmas movies or chatting or whatever it might be. It's really important that you need your rest. Set alarms on your phone, on your watch, or whatever you need. My TV has an app where I can control it, and I have a bedtime. And the TV goes off at 10 o'clock. Sometimes it's a little aggravating because it turns off right in the middle of the show. But then I remember, yeah, I set it up like that so I won't be tired tomorrow. And so I go to bed, and it's really helping. See if you can figure out things like that. Do what you love to do. With every holiday season, there are things that we enjoy more than others. Things that kind of cheer us up or lift our soul, feed our creativity, and there are other things that we do just out of obligation. Make sure you're doing some of the things that feed your soul and encourage you. For me, it's decorating my home, but I have found that I can't do it in the same way I used to. We used to bring in all the bins and I would just go full stop until it was done. Sometimes it only took me a day, sometimes it took me 2 days. Now I just kind of dribble it out. I start a few weeks before I normally would, and I just do a little bit. Like this morning, I set up this little corner. It only took a half an hour, and I just put some things out that were really easy. And then another time, maybe I'll put up the tree in here. Just set the tree up. I'm giving away the tree I had in here before. It was 9 feet tall. I didn't understand what that meant when I bought it. Didn't have any lights. I thought I wanted that so the tree would last longer, but the tree was a beast to put together. Last year it took me a whole day to put the lights on. This year I knew I just can't do that anymore. So I ordered a little 7-foot tree that's pre-lighted. It's really easy to put together. It was inexpensive. I wasn't looking for anything fancy. And so I'll be able to put that tree up myself, 15 minutes maybe, and then I'll just leave it alone. I'll leave it alone until I fill up to it. And I think I'll have my granddaughters help me decorate it so it won't be hard. Do those kinds of things. And then maybe there is something else that really feeds your soul, like decorating Christmas cookies. It's really important to our family. We've done it longer than I've been alive. And so everyone looks forward to it. Last year I did it all, even though I didn't feel well, and it was such a mistake. But this year, I'm going to have someone make the cookie dough, someone help roll it out, someone help make the frosting. I can divide that all up, and then it won't be a big chore for anyone, and we can still have the fun, because I know it's not good for me to try to do it all. So pick out the things that you enjoy the most, and then see if it's possible to simplify them or have someone help them. And if it still feels like it's too hard, don't do that. Come up with something else that you can do to replace it that is easier to maintain. Learn to say no. This is a good time of year to say no. Maybe there is a church party coming up, and if it's like ours, there'll be lots of people, lots of activities, the kids running around, they're just really, really noisy. And those are really difficult for me. So I'm going to say no to it this year. If my family wants to go, and sometimes they go to these church parties without me, that is great. I'm happy for them, but I've had to learn to say no and then not worry about the members of our church judging me. I have been educating them, particularly over the last couple of years. You know what? I do have health problems. I don't know from day to day how I'm going to feel. So we're just not going to count on me doing this kinds of things. If I end up doing it, then that's great. If not, you can understand what's going on. So if you educate the people around you, it will be easier for you to say no with people understanding where you're coming from. Prepare ahead of time as much as you can. My mother taught me to do this. You read this on every website and you hear this from everyone, and it's such good advice. My parents had a department store and Mom worked hard. It was very common for her to work 12 hours a day, but she still liked to have all the familiar treats and activities and things we did. And so she would start at the 1st of December and prepare ahead. She'd make this treat and she would freeze it. A week before Christmas, she'd make this treat and put tinfoil over it and put it up in a place where we couldn't get to it. And so she was just kind of gradually getting everything ready. It didn't wear her out. That's a really good practice, and it's one that I'm going to take on this year. I've been doing some reading on which kinds of things I can make ahead and freeze, and how I do that and how I take them out and prepare them, because I really think that's going to be a good idea for me. This year, everything changed. I changed my channel's name towards a simple life. While I am doing some decluttering, my main goal was to make my life just run in a simpler, happier, slower way without pushing myself and spending quite as much time sick. Get good at power naps. I can't really do that. I have to say, I can lay down and as soon as I fall asleep, I wake back up and it seems to perk me up. But if I sleep for a longer period of time, I'm groggy and it interferes with my night sleep, which is common for someone with a sleep disorder. So know yourself. If a power nap helps you, then take it. But you can make an appointment with yourself. At some point every day that you don't break, do something for yourself. Sit in front of the Christmas tree, read a book, lay down, do a puzzle, color in a book, play the piano, just sit there and look out the window. Whatever it is, make this appointment with you that you're going to take a break and get yourself together, because your goal is to not get too worn out. It's going to be really important this time of year that you practice some safety precautions. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people who catches everything. And then when I get sick, I tend to get sicker than other people and it lasts longer. It's hard for my body to recover. So it's good to think about that. Hand washing, hand sanitizers. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, particularly when people are around. Keep things wiped off and sanitized, like your kitchen counters, your bathroom counters, places that people are touching. And then if you suspect someone is getting the cold or flu, just try to stay away from them if you can. If you're all right with immunizations, get a flu shot. My mother used to always say that. Get a flu shot, get a flu shot. I have never had trouble with a flu shot. I know some people have. If a flu shot doesn't work for you, then don't do that. But I usually, this time of year, and I usually wait till December, time for me to go do that, get a flu shot. I don't know that I get any other immunizations. Everybody feels differently about that. So you do what you feel good about. If you're finding that it's hard to keep up with the dishes and everything, and maybe it's really something for you to cook, but cleaning up is hard, use disposables. If you're against that, then don't do it. Sometimes you just need to do that kind of thing because it's more important for you to protect your health, your energy, so that you can enjoy the holiday season as much as possible. You're going to look for every way possible to reduce your energy consumption so that you can do the things that are meaningful to you. And sometimes using paper plates and other consumables are just the way to go. If you're going to events that you need to go to, you and your spouse or whoever you're attending know that you tend to get overwhelmed, you could come up with a code word. So you could say this one thing to them and they know, okay, it's a good time for us to start making our excuses, or to say, we need to go now because of this, without you having to do it. And so they are protecting you in a way. It will just be a more gracious exit. If wrapping presents can wear you out like it does me, come up with easier ways to do it. We have these Santa sacks that the kids just love. When I'm having a good year, I'll wrap the presents and I'll put them in there. If I'm not having a good year, I'll just put the presents in the Santa sack and put the label on them, and I won't put them under the tree until Christmas Eve, and then keep the kids away from them. Use gift bags, whatever it is, but come up with the easiest way possible for you to do these things. Sometimes we are used to having really quite complicated get-togethers for Christmas Eve or for other family events. Well, how about this year? You do something really easy. Maybe everyone wears their pajamas. Maybe you just have some snacks, some cookies, some cold cuts, some fruit, a hot chocolate bar. Everybody brings something or makes something, assuming there are some adults there. And then you do really easy things like parlor games. And I'll tell you what, kids and adults sometimes remember these old-fashioned games a lot better than anything else. Have you ever played So High Water? That's where someone leaves the room, you hide some little thing around, and then when you're ready, everyone sings, So high water, they come in, And then when they're looking for things, you can say lower or higher, or else you can do the hot, 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 cold, 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 and they're looking for it and everyone's really laughing. Another good game is, would you rather do this or do that? So would you rather go tubing in the snow, or would you rather go on a beach vacation? And everybody goes around and asks these questions, and it's fun. There is Pictionary, there's charades. It's the interaction that people will remember, and you'll be able to just sit on the couch, participate or not participate, and enjoy everybody. And just look some of those games up online so you have a little list, and you might find out that that is one of the most fun times you've ever had with your family. Keep your house just clean enough, not too much, just clean enough. If you really can't do any house cleaning and you can afford it, hire someone to come in and clean your house. If you're like me, I can't afford it, just kind of space it out over the week, and you can do things like work in little spurts, like maybe 10 minutes and then you rest, or a half an hour, set a timer and then you rest. It's kind of amazing what I can get done in a half an hour. Things that I assume take longer don't really take me as long. So maybe one time I'll dust. And I don't dust every week. I have found that I don't need to. Maybe one day, one half an hour, I'll just kind of broom the floor off. Maybe another time I'll use my steamer, which is really low effort, to clean the floor. The most important thing is just to kind of have it picked up, to not have clutter around. Of course, when you've got decorations around, there's not a lot of room for clutter. But if you're in the habit of just putting things away or helping your family learn to put things where they belong, you won't have clutter around. People will come in, they won't necessarily look at your floor, and as long as there's not too much clutter around, they'll have the sense that your home was clean. So, as I said, just keep it tolerably clean. Get people to help you too. You don't have to do everything by yourself, but you do have to ask. Sometimes we're a little afraid to ask. We're afraid of what they're going to say. We assume they're going to criticize us. Highly recommend you watch my video about maintaining your energy using the dots method. So green means everything's go, you can do things. Yellow means you're getting tired. Red is too tired, you really need to take a break. You should take a break with yellow so you can get yourself back in green. Purple means you're over the top. Well, my husband and my family knows what that means. So if I say I'm red, they'll say, okay, yeah, stop. If I suddenly sit down and take a rest, I could say, oh, you know what, I'm yellow. I need to take a break. So it's a really good method of being able to communicate how you feel that helps people not get so mad at you. They're not constantly hearing, I don't feel good, I don't feel good, I don't feel good, which gets a little hard to take. Or I'm so tired, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. So think about that. People tell me that video is really helpful. I am teaching you a method that I was taught by a cognitive therapist when I was dealing with long COVID. So watch that. It could really get you through the season. And you know what? Sometimes people just won't get it. Some people will just think, oh, you're faking it, or you're really not that tired, or I can do all this stuff, why can't you do it? And you can tell that they're judging you a little bit. They might criticize you. The best thing to do is just forgive them. Maybe life will teach them at some point what it was like for you. Maybe it won't. It really doesn't matter. For your own sense of mental health, your own peace, just forgive them and let it go. Just concentrate on taking good care of yourself, knowing that that's the way that in the end everyone is going to have the best experience with you. Remember, you are not responsible for everyone's joy and happiness and good times. Sometimes when we've been healthy most of our life, or we haven't had any trouble working, we were younger, we were energetic, there's just a lot of reasons. And so we got in the habit of doing so many things. Maybe it's what we saw our mother do and our grandmother do, and that's what we assume. But we take on this idea that we are responsible for our children's happiness, really work hard at it. We're responsible for them having a good time at the party. And so we worry about it too much. We are not responsible for that. We can just do what we can do, throw it out, and let whatever happens, happens. Everyone's happiness is really their own responsibility. Watch your diet. Don't apologize for what you're going through. If you're working really hard and you're tired, you are doing things to support yourself and your family. You are serving them. Don't apologize for the consequences of that work, that gift that you're giving them. Don't apologize for having a chronic illness or having financial difficulties, because this world is just really crazy with that right now. Whatever it is, just manage it the best you can. And don't keep apologizing. That actually brings more attention to the problem that you want. There's a girl I really enjoy watching her videos. She does really beautiful home decor. But I found that she just keeps apologizing for everything. The lighting, the sound, that she didn't do this and she's going to do this in the future. I finally put a comment on one of her videos and said, please don't apologize. You do such a beautiful job. I enjoy watching your videos, and I can tell you I would never ever notice that if you wouldn't point it out. I'll tell you what, if people just know you love them and you're doing the best you can and you're putting a smile on your face, and when you don't feel like smiling, you're taking a break, whatever it is, things are just going to go better. They're going to be more accepting unless they've got something going on with them, and that's not up to you. And remember, Christmas is about the birth of Jesus Christ. And when it comes down to it, that's it. I want to say a little bit about decor. Maybe you are not able to put a lot of decor out. It's just too much for you. You could do some little thing maybe. Get one of those little teeny trees that are very inexpensive, order it and have them send it to you. If you have some decor, ask someone, a neighbor, a friend, a family member to come over and put some little thing up for you. They might really be happy to help you, but you have to ask. At the end of my mother's life, she was unable to put her decorations up, and she had decluttered so that she had just a few little shoe boxes. She couldn't even do that. So I would get my granddaughters and we would go down to her apartment. She had her ways of how she wanted it and where she wanted everything to put it up, but we were happy to help her with that. It took only a half an hour. At the end of the season, we would take it down. The first year that happened, she asked. And then after that, she didn't have to ask again. So please don't be shy about asking for that help. It doesn't have to be a big thing, just a small thing. Maybe even just a little snowman or a little nativity set or just any small thing. And if it's really not important to you, that's all right. Just do as one of my commenters said, I am going to just have peace and joy and love this year. I think that's awesome. And for her, that's the perfect Christmas. Well, I'll see you again and we'll talk more about the season. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.